There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, we're live. Hey, how goes it, bro?
Hey. Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just switching up a little bit of the aspect ratio here. We look stretched out. I don't know why. There we go. Now we look good. All right, everybody, if you're watching this live right now, don't forget every day somebody wins some crypto. If you want a chance to win, all you have to do is like, comment. 24 hours from now, somebody's going to win. Could be you. Just hit like, drop a comment. Every day somebody wins $10 worth of crypto. And today I'm with my bro. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, bro. Let people know a little bit about like maybe who you are, how you got into, Bitcoin or crypto, and how that led you to what you're doing now with the Super World app.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on Not Another Bitcoin podcast, and appreciate it, and very excited about sharing our story. I'd say that my background. So first of all, my name is Hrish Lotlikar. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Superworld. My background's kind of started out in business. So I started in management consulting, investment banking, M&A on Wall Street, was a bank called UBS Investment Bank, and then HSBC Securities. Started off in public finance, corporate finance, and mergers and acquisitions. And then moved into venture capital for a number of years in New York, investing across tech and biotech. And about 10 years ago, ended up going out to Eastern Europe and starting a venture capital fund with a couple of partners. It was more of an idea when I was in New York, and went out there and was able to accomplish it. And it took me about a year and a half. That started a fund called East Labs. I'm also now on the board of Tech Minsk, which is another venture capital early stage fund in Belarus, in Minsk. After that, I was the first biz dev, like an early employee at a company called TopTal. TopTal is a talent marketplace. It's now the #1 talent marketplace in the world. It's backed by Andreessen Horowitz. So that was a really great experience for me, learning how to grow and scale a company. And then 5 years ago, I co-founded Rogue Initiative Studios, which is a film, television, gaming, and virtual reality studio in Hollywood. My co-founder produced Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series, and Ghosts. And my production partner there is Michael Bay, the action director. And
okay.
Yeah.
Small name drop. Respect. Okay.
Yeah. And so what we do is we do franchises that go across feature film, television, gaming, virtual reality, all the way to amusement park rides and toys. And the reason I told you that is that's how I got into VR and AR, because Rogue Initiative, creates VR and AR content. We're an immersive studio as well, besides feature film and television.
Well, that makes sense. That would be able to put all that in one umbrella for like a project or a company to get involved and be able to have like a multiverse of their content.
Yeah. And that's exactly the idea, is create a new piece of content and then be able to, at the highest levels, go across film, television, gaming, virtual reality, bring the best in from all of the different industries, and then create new original content that goes across all of them. And so that's how I got into VR, AR. And then what happened was, 3.5 years ago, the world knows Pokemon Go came out.
I was just going to say that. I had to hold myself back from like, it sounds like Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Yeah, it became this worldwide sensation. And, you know, I got together with my co-founder. I used to work with him before. His name is Max Woon. Max and I used to work together on the YouTube platform. I'll give you a little bit of Max's background as well. He co-founded Xfire and sold it to Viacom, but he's also done Fizzle, Sliver, Skit, and Toonstar, all venture-backed companies. And Sliver and Toonstar are both in the immersive space as well. And previously, he worked in Stephen Hawking's department at Cambridge. Oh. So he's brilliant. Yeah, he's awesome. And you know, we got together and we were like, let's build a world. You know, if we can't build the next Pokemon Go, wouldn't it be cool to build a place, a world where the next 1,000 Pokemon Go's get built on?
Right. Some Ready Player One shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's kind of why we started Superworld. That's the vision behind Superworld. And, you know, I can go into it, but if I were going to give you an analogy, it's kind of like Pokemon Go, which is an analogy for adding digital information to the real world, meets Foursquare, which is an analogy for data.
I see it. Right? I see it. Yeah, I remember playing Ingress before Pokemon Go came out. So I believe Ingress is where Pokemon Go got all their metadata from when it came to digitizing the physical world to give it that AR, like the Poke Centers and all these drop spots and battle locations. Ingress was like the forefront of this. And as soon as Ingress and Pokemon Go were out at the same time, I was like, why can't I just play both of them? Like it just seemed like it was like, you know, kind of meant to be, and sounds like that's what you know you're doing with Superworld.
100%. You're exactly right. And then the third part of Superworld is the monopoly aspect of it, where you can actually buy and sell virtual land, and that's where on the blockchain on Ethereum as ERC-721 tokens.
Do you see this as the next rush, bro? Like I've been seeing this happen for the past year, and I've been waiting for somebody to scream it from the rooftops, like virtual real estate is the next thing. Like that's Century 21 is about to hop up in the sandbox and start flipping digital land. Like, do you see this as being like that next movement into like, you know, the economy of crypto and tokenomics is virtual real estate?
Yeah, you know, I think that a lot of the world is waking up to the power of non-fungible tokens and how that, you know, could be used to be able to not only collect, but to collect programmable digital assets. And those programmable assets can give, you know, buyers and sellers with the ability to have not only, you know, authentic ownership, so it can't be copied. Now you're dealing with an asset here that is a one of a kind. And also you're able to program it, so you're able to get, you know, future cash flows from it potentially, as well as other things that could be programmed in. And so it's a really smart way of thinking about looking at a digital asset like real estate, in our case, virtual real estate, and in a virtual world, right? So it's you know, there's so many different aspects of it that I think make it very interesting for anyone to get into.
So I kind of want to dive into, I guess, a little bit about the super world and maybe compare and contrast to some things that people already are immersed with, like, I guess, Decentraland and crypto voxels, things like Sandbox. Where does super world fit in with all this? Is it more of a competition or is it more of a complement?
Yeah, you know, I think we're very open in terms of our vision for Superworld. First of all, I'd say the major difference from, you know, some of the ones you mentioned is we are mapped on top of the real world. So there is a finite aspect of Superworld's virtual real estate. There's only 64.8 billion blocks of Superworld virtual plots of land because we're geographically mapped onto Earth. And so if you buy a block, you own, there's only one of those blocks, right? That's available that covers that part of the planet. And so in that way, there is some differentiation between some of the names you mentioned. But the other thing is, you know, vision-wise, we want to be as open as possible. So again, we're augmented reality, virtual reality, you know, XR type platform. But that doesn't mean that content in Superworld just has to be AR, VR. We could have 2D content, photos, videos, anything that's possible is available in Superworld. And then again, as a vision, we want to be very seamless with anywhere anyone is creating content, we want to be able to have that content into Superworld. In terms of the real estate, I would say a big difference is if you buy a plot of land in Superworld, you own that plot, you get a share of any of the commerce that happens on that plot from user activity.
So like a virtual landlord.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Exactly. But you don't control it per se, meaning anyone has the freedom to do anything anywhere. So if you bought up, parts of New York City, doesn't mean that I can't go and do things there.
Oh, so I can't have like a gated community in Superworld. That's cool.
Yeah. So you actually get a share of that revenue, but you can't prevent anyone. So everyone in Superworld is free to post or put content or see things anywhere. But as an owner of that virtual land, you're getting a share of anything that happens in the infinite number of worlds that can exist wherever you've bought your land.
Got it.
Makes sense.
No, I got it. Yeah, if I get like a popular virtual spot, people might want to throw up a billboard there. I'll get some rent from the billboard, or they'll want to build like a WeWork, and I'll get some revenue from the actions that are done on top of my land. But I don't get to dictate what they do, right? I think that's interesting. Exactly. It stops like monarchies and things like that, where like I would say censorship, right? Like, oh, I am the king of this land. I censor what you can do on it. That would be a bad game theory moment to break, really, because then you probably have just some rich asshole buy all the land and just shut it down. Nobody can do anything now. Yeah,
and that's how a lot of the other virtual worlds
it is exactly. It's all whales that just ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say is that, again, any content that you post is in your world, right? So I can have a world in that same place, and I have different content there. So any spot in space.
Oh shit, you're talking some Doctor Strange level stuff. So you could have like my world on the same plot of land as well as your world, and it's like fourth, fifth dimensions. It's totally separate, but built on the same virtual real estate.
Exactly.
How the hell does that even
infinite
work,
number
though?
of filters. Well, you can switch between worlds, so it's like a filter on top of the real world.
Oh, so like it's like swapping sidechain nets. So you could be like on testnet, main chain, Ken's net. So it's basically like switching like node operators or something to that aspect.
Yeah, it's basically being able to see a different filter of the world based on what you are, wanting to look at, and then in the future we might even be able to combine those things. So in the first variation, it's separate. But we could say, I want to see your world, and I want to see, our buddy Desa's world.
Right, at the same time.
We can combine them.
That would be almost like, and as soon as you started saying that, dude, in my mind, I was like, wait, if I could overlap them, it would be like kind of seeing a ghost. It's like, oh, wait, they're in my world, but they're not in my world.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
No, there's a lot of possibilities.
I guess, like, how do you vision this tying into the real world? Like, when it comes to AR, VR, physical real estate being tokenized and become like virtual, how do you see this tying in when it comes to like utility? Where do you see like first main use case coming into Superworld?
Yeah, so I think that just thinking about the concept. In general, the way we describe it is, you have the ability to personalize the world, right? I do the same. Brands have that same ability. So anyone can create a virtual world, right? And so you could think of the world as your own video game, right? Anything is possible, any kind of content, you can make a game, you could just put content somewhere, you could put a movie somewhere, anything is possible. So there's that open kind of palette type of concept about what people can do. But if I were going to go into specific use cases, what we're very interested in is the digital art space right now. So that's probably one of the areas that we're focusing on the most, is how can we create a lot of value for artists that are already creating art digitally, whether that's, JPEGs, videos, sculptures, 3D, anything that's possible there. And especially crypto digital artists are very, interested in what we're doing, because it makes sense. They know the crypto, they know the art, they're creators. And so that is, I'd say, the first area that we're really focusing in on,
sense.
and that's a lot of this crowd here, I think, as well.
Yeah, it's definitely not like a square peg into a round hole situation. You guys found something that very well matches each other to suit the conversation moving forward. Tokenized art, real estate, virtual. I think like when you mentioned Vesa earlier, it's exactly what these artists of the new era are really looking for, is a way to have like a virtual art gallery or like a museum for their VR art.
Yeah. Exactly. And then it goes beyond there. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of influencers who can, you know, create worlds. Again, brands can create worlds. We've had even, you know, certain, you know, companies that have come to us and said, hey, can we create a world for our employees, right? So
that's cool.
There's a variety of kind of use cases here.
And they're already doing stuff like this with things like alt space and things that aren't even involving with tokenization, but they're getting more involved in like that virtual environment because they found a way to game it and make a community around it. I remember back in the early 90s, people won't remember this, but Coca-Cola had like a video game back in the day where you could make music and you had like your own little room and you could hang out with people, and it was like, why did Coca-Cola do this? And it was like, oh, they made a video game for their community to like, it's marketing, you know, it's a different type of marketing. It's gamified marketing. And I'm like, I've been waiting for somebody to do something like this. Like, I've been waiting for like a Old Spice version of like, you know, Minecraft to come out. And it hasn't been something I've been seeing a lot of. But when it comes to tokenomics, I've already seen Pepsi getting involved. You know, have you seen the Pep coin by Pepsi? It's like I
didn't know.
Yeah, they have their own coin now. It's on a bag of chips, the bottle of soda. You can scan it and get Pep coin. And I'm like, that's one step away from Pep World.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. I got to check that out. It just goes to show you that, there's a lot of brands that are understanding the power of not only having some kind of token, but also being able to utilize, you know, augmented reality or, you know, these other mediums to personalize the world.
Damn, dude, do you think we really dropped the ball on Google Glasses? Like, every time I see augmented reality and VR kind of come back into the topic of conversation, I go back to Google Glasses, and I was like, damn, we were this close to having, like, mainstream IoT for VR and AR, and it did not take off. Do you think that because things becoming more virtual and becoming tokenized in an augmented reality way, we may end up going towards those, like, virtual, like, you know, I guess what did they call? They just called them Google goggles, but they were like a virtual goggles. Yeah, they called them virtual goggles. You think they might make a comeback?
Yeah. So, you know, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook has already announced that they're launching glasses next year in partnership with Ray-Ban. Apple has announced, Tim Cook has made, you know, they're probably the leaders in terms of AR software. So the latest iPhone 12 has LiDAR, which does volumetric scanning.
Yeah, you can scan like you can scan your old phone and print a 3D version of it with your new phone.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So they're coming out with glasses. Google will likely have another version of glasses that are out as well. There's already brands, you know, globally that have come out. There's Unreal. There's a brand owned by Reliance in India that's come out with glasses already. So there's going to be a number of glass, you know, manufacturers that hit market. Snap is really innovating there with what they're doing, and they're going to have AR glasses for sure.
Yeah, Snapchat's goggles, when they first came out, that was sort of my buy signal to get into their IPO. They were doing some partnerships with the Olympics over in Asia, and I was like, wait, they got these glasses and vending machines, a partnership with, like, you know, the Olympics, these goggle glasses thing. And then obviously it kind of worked out at the takeoff for the IPO, and then we've seen where it's gone since. Do you think that the success of like wearable technology like this is detrimental to projects like Superworld? Like, does it go hand in hand, or like, what I'm getting is like Superworld sounds like it's too early, right? Like, we need more IoT or another means to engage with this virtual world. Is my smartphone enough, or do we need those wearables to engage with the augmented world for things to really succeed? You know, is it a hand-in-hand yin-yang scenario, or do you think Superworld and these virtual projects could live without wearable technology to engage with them?
Yeah, so, you know, I think in Superworld's case, you know, we're starting with mobile phones. You know, as Pokemon Go has proven, there's a large install base out there of 3.5 billion mobile phones that are AR enabled, soon to be 6 billion mobile phones. So if there's users out there that can look at AR, every new mobile phone has AR capabilities. So we're starting on mobile, and we have an application on mobile, and that will be how we get into market.
So I don't need one of these big bulky things that play with Super World. All right, I'm already in.
We're on phone, so you can look around if you need to look at something. If you're in the park and you want to.
Oh, how crazy would that be to open your phone, open Super World, go and look at Starbucks, and it's not Starbucks because I bought it in a virtual environment and just rebranded it to like Ken Cafe.
Yeah, that's totally possible, right? So that you can see any type of filter, any type of world, and then when glasses are coming out, which they'll come out, like I said, probably in the next 2 years, either next year or the year before, they'll be really into market. And then that is when that story of glasses and being able to experience Super World comes out will make it even more interesting to see virtual worlds around you. So yeah, that's coming.
So how do you elevator pitch this to somebody, right? Like, who's your demographic audience when you get stuck in an elevator? Who would it be and what would you say?
That's the beauty of, I think, what we're doing is, the number one thing that makes me very excited about Superworld is the excitement I see in people's eyes when I even mention what we're doing.
I feel like he's talking about my eyes right now because I'm just like, this is awesome.
Yeah, when I tell people, Superworld's a virtual world that improves your life, right? And that just kind of opens up all of these possibilities when they start understanding what we're building and kind of what our vision here is. And so, the beauty of this is that almost anyone can understand it, whether they're someone who's deep in technology, blockchain, AR, VR, or they just, played video games once in their life, or have a kid who plays video games and understands the power of that, right? They can understand the power of that existing around us and us having our own quote unquote, world video game, et cetera, that we can personalize and do things with. Whether, I think the case in point about what you said about Pokemon Go is a good one, which is you kind of wished it was like a combination of Ingress and
especially when a Harry Potter one came out, I was like, dude, put these together. Yeah. Like the Harry Potter world and Pokemon world need to overlap, okay? Ingress, make it happen.
Yeah, and Niantic will likely do that, and they're doing a lot of things, and I think they're doing a really awesome job. But even with what they're doing, it's very gaming focused right now, right? And which is great. But I think that what we want to do is really open up the possibilities for anyone to create whatever they want. And so that is kind of the goal that we're shooting for.
Yeah, I think they're definitely missing a big opportunity by focusing so narrowly on gaming. I think Fortnite kind of shined a really good spotlight on the fact that like entertainment in a virtual means is very sought after. Like Travis Scott did a concert in Fortnite, the video game. So while you're playing the video game, shooting your friends, there's a concert in the background happening, and it's happening across everybody's game at the same time. And I was just like, yeah, this is, why wouldn't, a version of like, Pokemon Go be like Concert Go, where you just show up in any park in your neighborhood and there goes the concert stage. It's just in every park in your neighborhood. I was really like one of those people that was like, I see where this could go. And I don't know what's been holding the progression back and the adoption back. I'm worried, and I don't know if this is like a justified worry, but I do get worried about companies being, leapfrogged and forgotten. I don't want to see Ingress become a blockbuster. And I see projects like, what Superworld's doing, or Decentraland, Crypto Voxels, a lot of these places that have the opportunity to just make Ingress the blockbuster of what they are when it comes to, the virtual gaming aspect. Is there anybody that you think that, you know, could benefit from adopting and working with Superworld and maybe not have that issue of becoming a Blockbuster-esque, you know, company in the movement of virtual gaming and virtual experiences?
Yeah, you know, I think the concept of a metaverse, you know, which is the concept of this kind of overlapping kind of virtual worlds that you can move from, and, you know, sell products from one to another, and, you know, accessories, and have an avatar that moves. And I think that's probably how this is going to work out. So I think Niantic is doing a really great job in that scope. I think Fortnite is another one, Roblox, Minecraft. These are all, you know, different virtual worlds, and there'll be other virtual worlds. You know, I think Pepsi, as you mentioned,
the centralized virtual worlds, right? And then we'll have decentralized virtual worlds.
Yeah, and so our goal, I mean, with Superworld, in terms of your question with working with partners, is, you know, what we want to do is, again, create a very open, seamless, software agnostic, hardware agnostic world. So, you know, we'll work with all of the major hardware manufacturers out there. We'll be on all the platforms.
What about blockchain agnosticity?
Yeah.
I don't know the word I'm looking for.
That too.
But yeah, what blockchains are you working with currently?
Yeah, so we're on Ethereum currently, but we are blockchain agnostic as well. So, you know, we'll be on other blockchains as we see an opportunity to build. And, you know, we're considering others like EOS and others out there. But we've started on Ethereum. But again, the idea behind Superworld is we're decentralized, and that's the main focus of why we're on the blockchain. However, you know, again, as you said, if there's another blockchain that comes out, or that allows our users to do whatever they want to do in a more efficient way, then we'll also be on that blockchain as well. And it's just going to have, you know, sync with currently what we're doing. So we're open to it.
Gotcha. I kind of want to put on like the devil's advocate hat here and get into a conversation most CEOs don't like, but I do want to touch on a couple of like the things that would concern people, like the game theory aspect. Is there anything that, you know, worries you when it comes to Superworld, where bad actors may be able to take advantage, maybe malicious use cases, ways that you plan on being, you know, proactive against these means? Because the first thing I kind of thought about was like, oh shit, if I could, you know, turn Starbucks into Dunkin' Donuts in a virtual overlay, couldn't that be like a legal issue somewhere? And obviously it's not today, but the things that, you know, projects like yours are creating, you're going to be creating things that need regulation and legislation and, you know, like laws around it that currently don't exist. So it's going to be an interesting use case, and as everything gets adopted, it's usually by the bad actors first, and we kind of see what they do with it and then work around them. Is there anything that like Superworld is preparing for when it comes to like game theory and malicious use cases of people being like, I don't know, putting like a swastika up on a billboard in my virtual real estate or something?
Yeah, no, that's a very important point, and I think that we're definitely very concerned about, you know, the potential of bad actors to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine just seeing Ken Sucks all over your virtual world. I'd be like, oh man, who's putting these graffiti signs up?
Yeah, exactly. We would not want that. And so, you know, the one concept that's very important to understand about Superworld is that, again, you have a world, I have a world, right? So, you know, brands have a world. So if you do anything in your world, that's in your world.
Oh, so right? You can't edit my world.
No.
Oh,
it's like your own iPhone. So if you imagine your own phone, your world as your iPhone, and Apple has a really great privacy policy and, you know, a lot of things in place in terms of how they operate an iPhone that I really think, you know, works with how we think about Superworld. So, you know, your iPhone, you could have whatever you want on your iPhone. That doesn't mean I have any access or see anything on your iPhone. But when you do start, you know, making things on your iPhone, whether that's an application you're using or, you know, doing things that are more public, and you make those things public and they're accessible to other people. Like
sharing your location and stuff.
Yeah, sharing your location, maybe in this case, sharing content. having content that is, negative of whatever sort, in locations like you
So
mentioned.
that makes sense.
Though that would happen in your world, it would still happen in your world, but it would emanate from your world and be public.
Right. So there's sort of like a self-censorship version, I guess, of the game theory of it, where it's more governance than government, where like I wouldn't do that to my world because who would want to come visit it? And then when you can overlay them, who would opt in to see my filter if it's all dick pics on the blockchain?
Exactly. And if that is the case, then that content would just be made private, right? Or there would be an ability to curate, from our side, the effect of your world onto the public, right? There might not be content this is not public content. This is just for your.
When it comes to private virtual content, I'm terrified. I'm straight up terrified. It scares the shit out of me. I worry about it because I go right to like, there's going to be a virtual Epstein Island one day. There's going to be a tokenized Epstein Island on the blockchain, and we won't know. And it worries me because there's not much we can do about it. It's like this technology exists, bad actors will adopt it, and that's the part that bums me out. Is like so much good can come out of this, but it's that very little bad that's even a remote possibility that kind of like, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I think that the decentralization of a lot of this, these mediums of content pose a potential, safety issue with people being able to quote unquote create their own private, groups or islands that could be potentially very negative because it is, decentralized, right? But again, in the real world, any tool can be used for a negative purpose. And so, we just have to make sure on our end that we are, doing everything that we can to understand that users are, utilizing these tools in a way that improves the world. Our mission at Superworld is to enhance your life, enhance and improve the world. We want to empower you to create your super world. And so that is kind of the vision.
This is badass because when people had the ability to just maybe create and make their MySpace page their own, back in high school, freshman year, everybody in my class knew HTML5. All of them. Because they were incentivized to learn how to HTML5 code so they could edit their MySpace world and build this virtual world for their friends. And this is going to incentivize a lot of individuals to start playing with tokenomics, where like people don't care about when Moon or when Lambo. Some people just want to play a game, and this is what I think is going to appeal to a lot of people and actually gamify the education process of how to do something in a virtual means with tokenomics through just the incentive of gamification. Like, here, play this game. It's your world. And now, how do I do this? How do I do that? DYOR, bro. People are going to do their own research and learn from ground up how to build their Ready Player One world thanks to Superworld. Is there a way for, like, what layers or levels of understanding do people need to have to start really using Superworld? Do I need to be at least a novice developer? Could I come in with little to no understanding? I'm just curious, like, how much would I need to know in order to really utilize the world that is Superworld?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, in terms of the product that we're working on, so we'll have a mobile app that hits the App Store in a couple of weeks. Right now, currently on the web, you can go and buy virtual land. So that's live right now, and people are buying up.
I want to buy my first neighborhood block that I grew up on. That's like, I want to own my childhood street.
Yeah, you should go check. It's so funny. I remember one time I was talking to someone who told me the same thing, and I was on a conference call with a lot of people, and he was like, my house is already bought. And I was like, really? How did that happen? And he was like, oh, I live downtown in, whatever city it was. And someone bought up that whole block
hilarious.
For some reason. And so his house was already bought. So yeah, go check it out. But
could I buy secondary though? Not to cut you off, but could I buy secondary real estate?
Oh yeah, 100%. So buyers, can buy unpurchased land for 0.1 ether, right? So if anything unpurchased is 0.1 ether right now.
That is pretty.
However,
cheap.
once you buy, you can reprice it to whatever you want.
Oh.
Okay. Right. And then once you've repriced it, you can figure out what other people would want to pay for that land, right? And we're adding messaging soon. So, if you really wanted a block of land that's already purchased, you could,
Or I just want a block of land next to your block, you know what I mean? I want to be block neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You could do that. And we're adding gifting capabilities very soon. They already exist, but we're kind of enhancing that.
So I could buy somebody some land for Christmas.
Yes, exactly. That's what that's going to be available, and you can do that already. But yeah, we have a whole give the gift of virtual real estate campaign that's in market right now.
Badass, man. So this is like an almost like all age groups, all game player levels. This is like for my mom or my nephew. Anybody could get involved.
Yeah, and you brought up a really great point. Is the fact is that what we want to do is create a world where you don't need to be a developer or programmer to create around you, right? So we have tools in the mobile app.
Oh, so you guys aren't just like learn to code, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what I want you to be able to do, and very soon, I mean, we've already built this out. We'll have audio commands as well, so you could just talk, and then things will appear in augmented reality in front of you, right? And so you don't even have to click on your phone and find things. You could just verbally say things, and then they'll appear in front of you in augmented reality.
So like a real Halo Cortana headset overlay things. I can just be like, okay, Google, take me to the Playboy Mansion, and in Super World, I just go to the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, you would see that content in front of you. You'd be able to pick from a variety of Playboy mansions that developers have created, maybe the real one in 360 video.
Are there ways
whatever
to do
it is.
Like admission fees or entry fees? I'm just curious to like if like Six Flags were to do something, right, where there's like a theme park where I could go on a roller coaster and move around, and is there a way that there's projects could build a means of like an admission fee, like where when you mentioned this, the first thing I thought of was every movie theater in my state is gone. I still want to go to the movies. I would go virtually. So is there a way like, a movie theater could have like, a $10 entry fee to walk in? And I'm just curious like how that economics works in a virtual way. Can I just like walk into a building? Is there still trespassing?
So I mean, the first thing that you should know is that you don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to. So if I put something in Times Square right now, right, in augmented reality, and you happen to be in New Jersey or Los Angeles for that matter, you could look at the map, click on that in Times Square, and that object, whatever it is that's in augmented reality, would appear in front of you right where you are sitting in your house, in wherever that is, anywhere in the world, right? So you don't actually have to physically go anywhere to see this content. That's number one. So it's
not exactly like Pokemon Go in that sense, because unfortunately with like things like Pokemon Go and Ingress, what we were kind of comparing this to earlier, you actually have to physically be in these real world locations to experience the virtual overlay of that real world. But with the super world, I could do that from the comfort of my own home and travel all around the world.
Exactly. And a brand could they could say, hey, we've left 5 pairs of Nike shoes around New York City, go find them all. And in that case, you might have to go to the location. But many brands, back to your question, could say, hey, you don't have to go anywhere. You can see this content, even though we've placed it geographically. You can click on the map, just find out where it is on the map, click on it, and you could see it in your location, right? And then that content itself could be paid content in some cases. So some of that content could be free, but if you want to click and if you want to watch the movie or, experience the game or, even buy that digital accessory or that digital art, that's a paid, that is a paid service.
So we can see like an economy commerce, buying, selling, shopping, all done in Super World.
Yes, yes. So, one of the things that we're definitely have as a big part of our business model is, everything is going digital. So if you look at any manufacturer, any brand, they're taking their whole inventory and they're making it all digital. And you see IKEA take all their furniture and they make it digital versions, and you can see it in your apartment.
Yeah,
right?
I could actually put the couch in the corner and see how the couch would look with the rugs and the wallpaper and everything. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And imagine being able to not only see that in the IKEA app, but seeing it in Superworld as well, right? So if I search for a couch, I might not just see IKEA's couch, but I
just
see
thought of an
couch
interior
from Wayfair.
designer for virtual real estate, bro. I'm just like,
Yeah.
It's like the dude from Beetlejuice, the interior designer. I could see him popping it in. Just yeah, and that's really cool because I mean, I as a kid when we started playing with Ingress, but it was back then. It took a long while for Pokemon Go to come out, but when I was playing things like Ingress, I wanted that experience of like opening my phone and going up in my bedroom and looking at my wall and seeing like a poster that's only there in a virtual way, but I know that poster is on my wall, locked in that location, and when you view it through this portal, you'll see that poster. And I've been waiting for this for like a decade, bro, like, and it's finally starting to come out. What are some of the things that you guys are still like, maybe roadblocks and barriers that you still have to, smash through before like, main launch? What are some of the things that you guys are seeing down the road that you are preparing for? Maybe we could talk about some of the hardships that you've already overcome, but I'm curious with something so, unique and very elaborate, what are some of the future hurdles you guys are preparing to overcome?
Yeah, so I think the thing that we are, and we've been in market for a few years, so this has not just been something that we launched recently. We've been working pretty hard on building out our products, building out this virtual real estate platform. We've had a prototype application in the market for a while, which the mobile application just to test and make sure everything kind of all clicks together. And the new application, as I said, is coming out in the next couple of weeks. We'll do a full launch in January, but that application will be searchable. I think the biggest things that we're waiting on is, first of all, a lot of the technology that underpins all of this augmented reality content is something called AR Cloud. And AR Cloud is basically the ability to be able to put objects in specific places. Like you mentioned earlier, walking into your room and seeing a painting on the wall. If you looked at it with glasses, it's there.
It's any one of my friends that view it, it's always in the same spot for them as well.
Yes. Yeah, and that's AR Cloud technology, right? And Apple and Google, Niantic, others are spending billions of dollars to create that technology. And our goal at Superworld is to utilize the best frameworks, best technologies out there in the market. And so a lot of I think if we were waiting on anything is for these technologies to keep improving and allow us to provide even more specific types of functionality and features, which you're already seeing now. So, in this latest iPhone release, now everyone has LiDAR, or the newest, iPhone has LiDAR, the newest iPads have LiDAR. That increases our ability to, add features into Superworld that allow, certain volumetric and placement and things like that to happen.
Anything you specifically would like to see?
Yeah. I think it's going to be very exciting when glasses come out. So that's an obvious one because, everyone's going to be natively looking around their environment. Right now, they have to grab their iPhone and look around. So it's a much more natural thing. So I'd say that's the most exciting thing. AR Cloud, 5G is another big one.
There you go. Yeah.
People and that's already here. And so there's like an inflection. There's like several inflection points, right? So one of them is these AR Cloud technologies, AR SDKs from Apple and Google. There's glasses. There's the fact that 5G and processors like from Qualcomm have come out. So every company wants to make glasses, they can use that Snapdragon processor. And then COVID basically has made us all realize that we might have to be more virtual, and maybe we even like it. We don't want to do a commute. Like, we want to stay from home.
I'll tell you, my mom never used Zoom before this lockdown, okay? And she won't stop Zooming everybody in the family now.
You don't have to travel. It's a more intimate way of, having a phone call, especially for the elderly and others who may have not realized how useful it is. I've been working remotely for the last, close to 10 years. And, back then, I mean, it's not that long ago, but people didn't get it. They're like, what does that mean that you're, work from home or remote? And because they almost thought you had to be in an environment to work together. You had
where's
to
your
go
cubicle?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And now people are like, whoa, I don't have to do that. I can be asynchronous. I can work any time of the day I want because I'm in another time zone. And now you can hire people more effectively from anywhere in the world.
This is real world employment. Wait till virtual employment. I mean, it's already starting to pick in. There's a couple video games that don't even utilize blockchain or crypto or anything. They're just old-fashioned online video games, but people work 9-to-5 jobs being a shopkeeper, or they're mining resources, or they actually own real estate in the game that people mine those resources on. So there's a 9-to-5 aspect already when it comes to video games. And then you have the content creator, the streamer side, where it's my kid could be the next ninja. Here, don't go outside and play. Here, I bought you the new Xbox, I bought you the new PlayStation. Go, here, play inside. Because, and it's funny, it's really dystopian, very Black Mirror-esque, I get it, but it is a future employment opportunity now, where when I was a kid, my mom would turn the game off, unplug it, tell me to go outside and play, but that's because I was never going to become, a Mortal Kombat tournament winner or anything, but now you don't have to go to the physical locations of tournaments. You could play in $100,000 tournament right now from your home on PlayStation. And a lot of parents are starting to wake up to the concept of the gaming economy is coming, and this is unprecedented employment opportunity for all ages, but mostly for the kids. I think it's going to be really cool to see how the youth utilize what people like you are building when it comes to Super World, because you have no idea what the end users are going to do with this product once it's in their hands in a mainstream way. They're going to decide how it will work and how it will be used and what they will do with it. And I think that's the best part, is the unknown adoption curve, where it's this is what it is, this is what it can do, but who knows what it will be doing in the future. And I maybe wanted to speculate on a little bit of the future of Super World and the far out, fly on the wall conversation stuff. This isn't, financial advice. This isn't anything to predict, investments on or anything. I'm just wanted to see you spitballing where you want this to kind of go, or where you think it could go, even though it's not on the roadmap or the white paper, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the most insightful comments, and kind of storylines that I've heard in quite a long time, which is that the evolution of Superworld is something that we cannot even predict, right? And by giving, everyone tools and understanding what they want to do, it allows us to build more tools to allow them to do more of whatever that is. And that's our focus, is, really try to understand what our users want. Really, I think you have an amazing community, and we're very close to, many of the people in the community. And what we want to do is we want to empower the community to utilize Superworld and to empower themselves, empower their lives. And so, I think that a lot of the themes that you're talking about are going to become reality, where, right now people are buying up real estate that's already available, and they're now becoming a key stakeholder on our platform by owning that. One of the things that we want to do is give them the ability to add value, quote unquote, develop their virtual land, right? Even in their own world, as I explained earlier. So there could be lots of worlds on that land, but there's a way to increase, the ability of one's virtual land to do more things or to have more opportunities there. And so that is one of the things that we want to empower people through features. So if I want you to, experience something on my virtual land or create a place on my virtual land for certain activities to happen, a podcast or a movie or, whatever it is, then, more user activity will occur in wherever I've created that, whatever it is, a virtual theme park for that matter, anything, right? And so, the idea is that, like you said, if we kind of our stance is we want to build awesome tools to give you freedom to build and to create whatever you want. And so I do see all of those things coming into play. And you already see that with esports on the gaming side, as you mentioned, how big that's becoming, how commercial and potentially lucrative that is becoming for teenagers and others who are starting off. It was something that was kind of like this waste of time, and now I think people are going to college with scholarships.
Esports college scholarships. And I think the next cool thing to see gamified would be community sports, where it's more so community service gamified, where, like you mentioned earlier, Nike could hide a pair of shoes in Super World and maybe physically have to go out and find that virtual item somewhere in like an alley, or maybe it's in like a different store locate, whatever. I would love to see, community service kind of become gamified in that sense, where like, you go out to a dirty park, you clean it up, and with your smartphone, you could show what it looks like before, during, and after, and that could be kind of gamified. Maybe, a local business that's next to that park could say, here's a game aspect. Come and clean this park up using the Super World, camera and everything, and we can give you, a prize or whatever for cleaning. I would love to see the real world fall into the virtual world in the community gamified aspect, where like, cleaning up your park and picking up something instead of stepping over it is sort of rewarded now.
Yeah, and that is amazing. Another amazing thought and idea, and that is exactly what we want to do. So, if you can imagine if there's an environmental group, let's say, that wants to create a filter on the world, their world, right? And that could be one of the, quote unquote games that they've created for their world, their users who operate or utilize their world to experience, which is, hey, this is really important, whether it's education, whether it's like public health kind of stuff, whether it's, hey, this is an area that we really need to focus on, and you can see that information, get more informed about what you could do as a person to help in terms of that movement. So even one of our investors is very big on, the forests and, making sure that we don't cut down all the trees and preserving animal life. And so, he was really interested in
that's what I was thinking, like plant a virtual tree, grow a real tree kind of a thing.
Yeah. And that could just be for educational purposes as well, to get more people into an understanding of why this movement, this community movement that you're talking about is so important. And, there's a variety of ways, and the gamification aspect of that is great because it gets more people acting and doing things. So you take the power of something like Pokemon Go, where people are running around and looking for a Pokemon, into people are going to go and clean a beach and do that in a way that improves the world.
Man, find a broken beer bottle and throw it away and fuck your Pikachu. Jesus. People much rather go and pick up a fucking virtual Pikachu and step over a broken beer bottle on the beach. But I want to see that paradigm switched. And I think that will happen when we can finally... I mean, it's funny to see how the internet sort of at the beginning did separate us. It was a segregation tool. It created these abilities for us to block people, mute people, and make our own echo chambers. And we're starting to finally see those echo chambers overlap and break that barrier that we have built. And the internet is now bringing us closer together than it has ever separated us apart. It's a weird paradigm shift that the internet has covered. People will say, oh, the internet separated. It made people, stop going. Yeah, but now I'm engaging with people more. I go to the alt space conference, and there's 100 people I could talk to virtually, and I don't have to get sick by shaking all their hands virtually. It's a great experience. I'm really excited to see the real world become more virtual, because we as a society have become a virtual community, and we engage, I think, in a much more healthier way virtually. Sometimes there's trolls and negativity, but that self-censorship that we have in public isn't healthy. Somebody cuts in front of you in line at the store, and you don't smack them in the back of the head. The whole day you're kind of thinking, I should have hit that guy for stepping in line. It bothers, but in virtual way, I could just be like, you know what, mute, block. I could yell at you, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see more of the real world become virtual, and more of the virtual world becoming real, and watching that play out. It's going to be unprecedented. We have nothing like this to really base it off of, and it's starting with projects like Superworlds. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, thank you. And that's really another very big point that you're bringing up, which is the interplay between the physical world now and this virtual layer that we've built on top of it, right? And we have an advisor who joined our company named Stephen Wolfram, and Stephen is one of the top AI computer scientists in the world. And the reason he was interested in what we were doing is, he thought of Superworld. Actually, the first thing he told me was, this is the GPS for life.
Yes, exactly. As soon as yes, exactly. It is.
Yeah. And that was very powerful, right? And basically, he has a lot of ideas around how do we infuse that physical world and physical things, pricing dynamics, things that are happening in the physical world, content, information, everything. And how does that infuse into this virtual world that we're building on top of it? And so the virtual world and the physical world are really kind of, linked in some ways. Right. And so if you buy a plot of virtual land somewhere in a field, because that next year they're going to build a mall, that price of that virtual land potentially will go up, right? This is an example, because there's just more users who are going to be at that mall in the future. And so by being able to understand physical land pricing dynamics, in this example, you can understand more of that virtual land pricing dynamics as well.
How have you guys handled the monopoly issues, right? Have you had any monopoly issues where people are trying to buy up Boardwalk and Park Place and kind of become like the Rothschilds of Superworld?
Yeah, there's a variety of different strategies that people have. And the beauty of Superworld, especially operating as a non-fungible token, is that, people have different value to different things based on different things. For example, you brought up, hey, I'm going to go buy up my childhood home, right? That was kind of the first thing you thought of, right? Someone else probably thinks, oh, I'm going to go buy up Times Square, just because they're like, oh, a lot of users are there. Someone else might want to buy some historical place like the pyramids in Egypt, right? Because they're like, oh, that's cool, right? And so there's so many different kind of angles. A lot of people buy sports stadiums, or places that are interesting for reasons that are related to hobbies that they have, right? So
if where there's a good warehouse for underground raves, might be a good spot to buy some real estate.
Exactly, right? We have people who are in the art space who buy museums because they're like,
smart.
You know what? Yeah, because there's gonna be a lot of artists who want to put their art in the museum in virtual spaces inside the museum. And
I could already see it. Going to a museum in real life without Superworld, you're just going to see green screens inside picture frames. It'd just be a blank green screen. And if you want to see the art, you have to use Superworld, and you could go through the filter of the artist that you want to see in the gallery.
Yeah, or the art is there, and you will go into Superworld and you see different art or enhancements on the art, or
that would be cool, seeing art come to life, like still images becoming like a kind of like a small cinematic movie. I've seen some people doing this on YouTube. That would be badass.
Yeah, imagine going up to the Mona Lisa and that's
she
an
winks,
AR filter.
blows you a kiss.
Exactly. So you wouldn't go into a museum without Superworld,
Or
right?
she actually smiles. That would be creepy. That's a creepy filter. The Mona Lisa just.
Yeah, exactly.
Some things nightmares are made of. I kind of want to wrap things up here with you, bro, but I don't at the same time because this is really interesting. I kind of want to keep like spitballing random ideas. I mean,
No, I
would love to see
conversation.
an immersive horror movie and things like when I saw Black Mirror came out with Bandersnatch. That video was a movie, that was a game, that was a video, that was a movie, that was a game, and it just kept going. And that next step that for entertainment immersive purposes will be an augmented or a virtual experience of something like Bandersnatch, where like I could actually go out of my house, walk around my neighborhood, and experience a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where I could follow the movie physically running around the neighborhood or from the comfort of my own couch.
Yes, exactly. And that's, really providing agency for, the viewer to be able to make decisions and have those decisions affect the plot of the movie or the story that you're in, and be able to, again, back to your comment, maybe even have some contextual relation to where they are in the physical world, if it's an AR movie or it's an AR game that you're playing. And so there's a ton of possibilities on the entertainment side with what we're doing in Superworld. I think the way we'll start is more marketing related. So some cool marketing stuff related to that.
I think guerrilla marketing will be infamous with Superworld, bro. Like the guerrilla marketing potential. And it's happening with brands. I mean, where like McDonald's and Burger King fight with each other all the time, but I think it's like planned marketing, like spite. Like I feel like they have marketing teams that talk to each other like, all right, we're gonna troll you today, you can troll us tomorrow. Like I mentioned earlier, I could see Dunkin' Donuts trolling Starbucks with Superworld. Every time you look at a Starbucks, it's gonna say Dunkin' on it because they have that filter. And I think that guerrilla marketing aspect is going to be really fun to watch play out as companies and brands want to get involved, where memeing, like, dude, our president became a president through memes. So brands are looking at the potential of memeing when it comes to marketing. And this is like, it's a real unique opportunity. So I guess if I was a brand, whether I'm Pepsi or a mom and pop shop, how would you kind of, pitch that use case for me? How could I utilize it to gamify that?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that you mentioned is a really great one, which is utilizing AR markers. And so AR markers is a way of describing, looking at certain logos or symbols or even contextual places, and augmented reality appears as soon as you point your phone there, right? On a logo of McDonald's turning into a fire or something. I think Burger King did something like that. So that's an AR marker approach, and that's really easy to do, right? So I could take your logo and make an AR marker of it pretty quickly. It works like a QR code.
Right. I think Snapchat did that with like Burger King and McDonald's when it came to that marker and filter.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll have that functionality. The other thing is the Pokemon Go example is a great one as well, which is, hey, there's 5 Coca-Cola bottles. Go find them all in New York City and win a car, right? Okay. And so that's kind of getting people to go places.
Oh, sort of like that Pokemon Center thing too, where I could turn my business into like an NFT airdrop. So if you come to like my pizza store, there's like this beacon you could play and maybe get a slice of pizza NFT that you can redeem for a slice of pizza at the register.
100%. Yeah. So that's more kind of the location based, going and searching for augmented reality or content. And, I think the other way that's also pretty interesting is visualization. So if I want to see a piece of furniture in my house, right, that's pulling up a 3D object like you would in the IKEA app, placing it in a location, or looking at your foot and seeing a shoe there, right, on your foot, or looking at your face and seeing makeup or something that, Sephora does quite well. And so really that's like visualization of products, and then being able to click and buy, right? Going right to the store and buying. And so those are, I think, the top 3 ways. that will be working with brands.
This
but,
is an opportunity for
potential-
Amazon and eBay is what it sounds like. This is exactly what Amazon and eBay need to step up that customer experience, where I could go on Amazon, eBay, say, oh, I want to buy this shirt, pop open Superworld and see like, oh, this is what the shirt would look like, and then just buy that right from that experience.
Yeah, and they'll do it too, right? And so there's no, there's no way that they are not, they're already in the space, and they will get more and more into this space. And I think the beauty of Superworld is, instead of going to all of these other places to do all of these multiple things, going into Pepsi's world, if that's a separate world, or going into, all of these other things.
Having 50 different apps just to have 50 different virtual worlds.
Yeah, we want to be kind of the gateway to your virtual life. And
so this is a straight compliment, right? So if like Coca-Cola was building their own version of this, they would just copy and paste and have a copy of it in Superworld, as well as their own centralized version.
Exactly. So I can get either a taste of their world in Superworld, and then click through and go to Superworld, Coca-Cola's app, right?
Okay.
Where they do all that
stuff. So like a portal experience, right?
Yeah, or they could, put, if it's a small and medium-sized business that doesn't want to create a world and an application in augmented reality, which probably costs a lot of money to do that effectively, they could just do it in Superworld.
Well, what you're talking about is like the new version of loyalty points or a rewards program. This is the next generation of a rewards program or a loyalty points program. And that is a gateway. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar, but I know small businesses have to pay minimum 6 figures to get that loyalty points or rewards program application developed. Imagine trying to develop something like this on their own. This is going to be a great opportunity for those small businesses to adopt something like this before the major brands can come out with their own to compete and then obviously opt in. As at least I would see, like, they're obviously going to compete and do their own super world thing, but eventually they're going to realize echo chambers aren't fun. Nobody's playing here. How do we get more immersiveness? And that's where I think they'll copy and paste the centralized versions into something like Super World. I'm ready. I'm ready, bro. I'm Ready Player One ready. I don't know if you saw that new movie with Ryan Reynolds coming out called Guy. They keep delaying it, but bro, watch that trailer for Guy, Ryan Reynolds. It's literally talking about Superworld in the fucking movie trailer.
Wow.
It is everything that you have mentioned was in that trailer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got to check it out. It's so funny. It's like, being on a team that we're building Superworld, it's hard to keep up with all of the the content that's out there, fictional content, stories about what we're building, and I always try to catch up and pay attention.
Oh yeah, it's just called Guy, G-U-Y, Ryan Reynolds. As soon as you watch the trailer, you're gonna be like, oh shit, bro, free marketing.
Yeah. I love it. I'm going to check it out. Thank you.
No problem, man. I guess anything that you wanted to make sure we mentioned, any topics that we didn't get to cover that you were looking forward to, anything that you wanted to say before we go?
Yeah, I'd love to tell your community that if you're inspired by our vision and what we're working on, definitely reach out to me. I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn and other places. Hrish Lotlikar is how to find me. And go and get on Superworld. So, buy some real estate if that's something that you're interested in.
Just don't buy my childhood home, please.
What's that?
I said, just don't buy my childhood home. I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, be careful where you're buying, in case Ken has certain places that you're saving up there for and want to reserve. Definitely check with Ken on that. But I think it's a way to get on the platform, and we have a real community once you bought some plot of land in Superworld, or you believe in what we're doing. It's called Team Superworld, and so we're all kind of building Superworld together. And so that's why I say, hey, if this is interesting to you, get in touch. Go buy some real estate, let us know what your ideas are, because ultimately, as you brought up, Ken, we want to build Superworld for our community, for our users, and empower them. And the only way that we can really effectively do that is really know what they want us to build. And so we're very open to understanding that. And so get in touch, and would love to hear from your fans.
Yeah, guys, if you check it out, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on Super World. And as always, somebody's going to win some crypto. Every day, somebody wins. All you have to do is like and comment. So just let me know in the comments below what you think of Super World. Go ahead and check it out. And if you bought any real estate, let me know where you went and got your land, and maybe I can go ahead and visit it one day soon, all right? Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, bro. Much appreciated. Shout out to the Super World team. Sounds like you guys are building some badass shit over there. I'm looking forward to it. And as always, have a day.
Thank you so much. See ya.
There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech, or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.